One of the most talked about entertainers of our generation was the great Michael Jackson. A lot of people know a lot about Michael Jackson, but not too many people know as much about Michael Jackson as our film critic, Rocco Pasafumi. So I asked Rocco, and I thought this would be riveting, to do a three-part series on the legend of Michael Jackson. Rocco, take it away. Part one of Michael Jackson.
Yes, this is going to be a three-part segment. The first part for this week, we have to go right back to the beginning, which was the 70s, where Michael Jackson was first successful with the Jackson 5. And the incredible thing about the Jackson 5 is that they really kind of changed music in many ways. The fact that, you know, you had a young group. There weren't a lot of young groups back then that were taken seriously, but they were the first ones that really were taken seriously. Berry Gordy, the chairman of Motown Records, really had a vision for these young, very talented performers, you know, led by Michael Jackson, who was already, right from then and there, very, very talented. And the great thing about the Jackson 5 is that Berry Gordy and his team of songwriters at the corporation really took these guys seriously. Like, you have their first hit single, I Want You Back, a single that would have been fantastic even without the Jackson 5, without such young performers. And I think you really get a sense of why this group was so fantastic and why they created such a sensation in the early 1970s, you know. They were not just like a kid group, they were a kid group that you believed in. You know, they had all this, you know, passion and excitement, and it's not easy to do because when you're a young kid, you know, you can't fake that, and that was the great talent of not only the Jackson 5, but of Michael Jackson particularly. It's like, there was a quote from the time when Michael Jackson said that, you know, if he didn't sing it, he didn't mean it, and that really was true about Michael Jackson in every respect even then, is that you really felt that he really brought life to these songs, you know, like, I mean, and they did a lot of different songs. They did bubblegum songs like ABC. They did more serious songs like I'll Be There and Never Can Say Goodbye. Songs that, those two songs particularly, were also great songs that would have been great songs even without young performers like the Jackson 5. And they had just such a great, tremendous start. You know, most people would have already had a fantastic career even with just that. But unfortunately, you know, the Motown, the label, didn't really see that much potential for them long term. I mean, even though they did have another huge hit a couple years later when Michael Jackson was a teenager, they did Dancing Machine, which you really got a sense of where Michael Jackson ended up going with his career. Just, you know, that energy, that you know, taking that youthful vigor that he had and making it into like an adult kind of power to it. And not even just that, but also he had great sensitivity as a performer. He did the title track for the movie Ben, and I mean, anybody could have taken that song and it would have been like this kind of very maudlin, very child, you know, kiddie type of song, and he really made it touching and he made it powerful, and there's a reason why the song ended up getting nominated for Best Original Song at the Oscars. And it's a testament to Michael Jackson's incredible talent even then, of how much of a gifted performer he already was. And the fact that, you know, the group progressed. I mean, most groups, unfortunately, the young groups, they burn out and they become forgotten about, but, you know, they made the bold move of leaving Motown Records for what was known as CBS Records, now as Sony Music, and they were being placed with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, who made some of the most amazing R&B songs of the 1970s, like When Can I See You Again and You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine. Just fantastic R&B balladry, and they were part of this. They had a couple of good songs, even during this time. They had songs like Enjoy Yourself and Show Me the Way to Go, and you really got a sense of how they progressed, the Jacksons, and how they brought such beautiful craft to their songwriting and producing by the fact that they were taught by such wonderful, incredibly talented people that really knew how to create beautiful music. And, you know, by the time that they did their own stuff with the Destiny album and the Triumph album, you really got a sense that the Jacksons were potentially a force to be reckoned with, particularly with Michael Jackson. You really got a sense of, you know, he was becoming older, and you really got a sense that the talent in him had only just started from when he was a kid. And, you know, he had done The Wiz, which unfortunately wasn't the best musical movie, but he really made an impact on that movie. He really showed that the potential was just unlimited, and you really got a sense right then and there of where he was going to go, particularly since the music in The Wiz was done by Quincy Jones, who ended up becoming Michael Jackson's producer of his solo music. And you just got a real sense of just where it was going to go. And you really just, the seeds were all planted from the Jackson 5 to where they were with the Jacksons, and just how really potentially far Michael Jackson was going to go, which I'm going to talk about in the next part of our segment, which is Michael Jackson's phenomenal years in the 1980s, starting with the Off the Wall album, right to Bad. So that I'll be doing for you next week. So thank you very much, Howie.
Rocco Pasafumi, Michael Jackson. God bless.